Hey guys, thank you for joining for another video tutorial. Today I'll be showing you how to make the top as shown. It's got ruffles and some embroidered roses, so you can get your things ready and we'll get started. This is the breakdown I used to decide the length of the top. So UB stands for the underbust measurement, and my underbust, the total measurement for my underbust is 60 centimeters. And as you can see, for the top, the whole length of the top is 50 centimeters wide. So I left 10 centimeters for the back straps. So the 30 centimeters at the center represents the part of the top that is going to cover the front part, and the L represents the length of the top from up to down. So you need to decide the measurements for that, and then we can get started. Make a slip knot. Work chains. I worked a total of 30 chains. Then you want to chain one, which is going to be our turning chain, and then to begin our first row, into the second chain from the hook, work one single crochet. To work a single crochet, you go into the chain stitch, pull up a loop, 2 loops on your hook, pull through both loops on your hook, go into the chain stitch, pull up a loop, and then pull through both loops on your hook. Repeat that until you get to the end of the row, or to the end of the chains you've made.
I can feel the sweat inside my palm. Play with me like cats and a string. You don't understand the pain it brings. You don't ever wanna give me wings. You don't ever wanna set me free. But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, baby you'll get sick of being the monster out of my head, under my bed, thinking something out of my nose.
Once you get to the end of the row, chain one, turn your work, and then you're going to work one single crochet into each stitch. So you're going to repeat the same thing we did for row 1, and the whole top is made using single crochets. Make sure to go under both loops. So this will be the repeat for the whole of for the entire top, and I'll meet you guys once we start making our increases. I repeated this for 20 rows without making any decreases or any increases. And so for the 21st row, towards the end of the 21st row, I'm going to make my first increase. And to make an increase, you're going to work 2 single crochets into the same stitch. So work your first single crochet and work your second single crochet into the very same stitch. So that's how we make our increase. And then you want to chain one and turn your work, and then you're just going to work one single crochet into each stitch until the end of the row.
Everything is like a test. I better not text or I'll come off desperate. But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, baby you'll get sick of being the monster out of my head.
I worked 2 more repeat rows, and then in the next row I'm going to be working an increase. So I worked an increase row and then worked 3 repeat rows and then an increase row and then 3 repeat rows, and I repeated that until I got to the middle of the top. So up until this point I had worked a total of 50 rows, and you can see how the top starts slanting upwards due to the increases. Now we want to make decreases so that it slants downwards. So to work our decrease row, first you want to chain 1, turn your work, then you're going to work 2 single crochets together. To do that, you want to go into the very first stitch, pull up a loop, then go into the next stitch, pull up another loop. You're going to have 3 loops on your hook, pull through all 3 loops on your hook. Next you're going to work 1 single crochet all the way back down. And the repeat will be the same, except this time it will be inverse. So I'm going to work 3 repeat rows after working my decrease row. I work 3 repeat rows, then I work a decrease row, then I work 3 repeat rows, and I repeated this for 30 rows.
You don't understand the pain it brings. You don't ever wanna give me wings. You don't ever wanna set me free. You know I'm addicted to you, and it's twisted. You've been gifted with the evil voodoo. Got me coming back for more, even when I've been screwed. Dolls full of pins, pierce my heart straight through. I got issues in my head. I like you in my bed, but you keep me on red. Oh, everything is like a test. I better not text or I'll come off desperate. But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, baby you'll get sick of being the monster out of my head, under my bed. Think you're something out of my nightmares, standing right there. But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, then will you get bored of killing? So if I play dead, will you regret everything that you did, that you said? I don't think you understand what you're doing, and my heart's black and blue from the bruising. I feel like when I'm with you I'm losing. I feel like you think that this amusing, sitting there gaslighting and confusing. Was it me? Is it
So here I had already worked my edging, the ruffles for the edge, and then I did my flower. I already embroidered my roses, but I'm going to be showing you guys how I did that. So for the bottom part of the edging, you want to chain 2 if your yarn is still attached to the top. If not, you can attach it first and then chain 2. Next, work 2 half double crochets. So yarn over, go into the row space, pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, pull through all 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over again, go into the same space, pull up a loop, and then pull through all 3 loops on your hook. So plus the chain 2, that counts as 3 half double crochets. So into the next spaces you're going to work 3 half double crochets into the same row space. So your row spaces may not be as pronounced as mine, because earlier I had tried using double crochet but I didn't like how it looked, so I switched to half double crochet. So be sure to go into the row spaces, don't miss them, because that's what will give us that ruffled effect when we work them together, closely together. Go ahead and repeat that for the bottom edge and also for the top edge. I'll show you how to work the roses. Okay, to work the roses I will be using some superfine pink yarn and a 1.6mm hook. We're going to start off by making a slip knot. And then make a chain 13.
Issues in my head, I like you in my bed, but you keep me on red. Oh, everything is like a test. I better not text or I'll come off desperate. But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, baby you'll get sick of being.
Okay, next you want to go into the 4th chain from the hook. Skip the first 3 and then into the 4th chain from the hook you're going to work 1 double crochet. So yarn over, go into the chain stitch, pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, pull through the first 2 and then the last 2 loops. Into the next stitch you're going to work a double crochet. So go into the chain stitch, pull up a loop, pull through the first 2 loops on your hook, pull through the next 2 loops on your hook. Okay, into the next stitch you'll work a half double crochet, yarn over, go into the chain stitch, pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, pull through all 3, and into the same stitch work a single crochet. So into the same stitch as the half double crochet you're going to work your single crochet. Into the next stitch we'll work 2 double crochets into the same stitch. And then you're going to do the same thing to the next stitch, work 2 double crochets into the same stitch. Into the next stitch work a half double crochet and a single crochet into the same stitch. Into the next 3 stitches work 2 double crochets into the same stitch.
You, I don't ever feel calm. I can feel the sweat inside my palm. Play with me like cats and a string. You don't understand the pain it brings. You don't ever wanna give me wings. You don't ever wanna set me free. You know I'm addicted.
finish off our rows by working a slip stitch into the very last stitch. So go into that last stitch, pull through the chain stitch and the loop on your hook, and you want to leave a long tail, so that because you're going to use it to sew the rows together as well as embroider it onto your top. Okay, so next you want to roll up your rows, and you're going to be using a tapestry needle to join it as well as to sew it up as well as to embroider it onto your top. So put the thread through the needle, and then you can roll it up from where the yarn is still attached, and then sew it together as shown in the video.
I wasn't struck by Cupid. I wish when I first saw you I knew this. When I'm with you I feel so useless. I feel diluted, my heart's been wounded. Silhouettes of you are like a taunt. Never really know just what you want. With you I don't ever feel calm. I can feel the sweat inside my palm. Play with me like cats and a string. You don't understand the pain it brings. You don't ever wanna give me wings. You don't ever wanna set me free. But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, maybe you'll get sick of being the monster out of my head, under my bed. Think you're something out of my nightmares. Standing right there. But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, then will you get bored of killing me? Never really know just what you want. With you I don't ever feel calm. I can feel the sweat inside my palm. Play with me like cats and a string. You don't understand the pain it brings.
So for the next part, we just want to attach the rows to the top. So you can just hold it against the top. Then using the tail you left, you're going to embroider it, and I prefer to go in between the stitches if we don't want it to show on the back side. But since I'll be embroidering the leaves, it doesn't really make a difference. So if you have a problem going in between the stitches, you can just go through the back of the top. So you go in between the stitches and then through the bottom of the rows so that you can firmly secure it to the top. Go in between the stitches.
I wasn't struck by Cupid. I wish when I first saw you I knew this. When I'm with you I feel so useless. I feel diluted, my heart's been wounded.
and then go through the bottom of the rose again.
With you I don't ever feel calm. I can feel the sweat inside my palm. Play with me like cats and a string. You don't understand the pain.
And you can repeat this as many times as you feel is enough to secure the top firmly. And if you have a problem like going in between the stitches, again you can just go through all the way through the back of the top. Also, using a plastic needle isn't the best, especially if you're a beginner. I highly recommend using the metallic, I think they're made of steel. Yeah, those kind of needles for doing your tapestry and embroidery. As you guys can see, because I went through the stitches instead of all the way to the back, you can't see the thread. But for the leaves, you can't really avoid it. So that's why I said if you have a problem with going through in between the stitches, you can just go all the way through the back, because the leaves are going to be showing anyway. I'm embroidering the leaves instead of making appliques because I only had thick yarn, yeah, for the green. So if you would like, you can make appliques just like the rose and then just attach them, and then they won't show at the back. But for me, I'm going to be embroidering the leaves, so I'm going to go through the back to the center of the rose, but not through the rose, just through the center where it is. Pull my yarn, then I'm going to go through my point, my first point. I'm going to call it point A. Go through the back, pull it, go through the center again, and then I'm going to go through my second point, point B, and then pull my yarn, and then I'm going to go through the center again through the back. Then my third point, which is going to be point C. So that's how I made my leaves, although they look different for the different roses, but that's okay, because I say the beauty is in the imperfection or the lack of symmetry. So you're going to repeat that. You're going to make like 2, and you can make this on opposite sides or at different angles. I tried to make at different angles, so this is like 180 degrees, and then I have some that are like 90 degrees apart or 60 degrees apart. Yeah.
You don't understand the pain it brings. You don't ever want to give me wings. You don't ever want to set me free. But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, baby you'll get sick of being the monster out of.
This is what it looks like when I worked the second pair of leaves. So you can work them in any direction of your preference. So you're going to work as many rose embroideries as you'd like for your top. Total of around 10. The back is gonna look a bit messy, but you can tuck the yarn to hide it once you're done working your top. If you don't want your work showing at the back, you can work small leaf appliques and attach them like we did the roses. If you have a hard time with that, let me know in the comment section and I'll do a video on that. We're close to the end and I want to begin working the part for my straps. So using the yarn still attached to my top after working my ruffles, I'm going to work a single crochet into the first stitch, a single crochet into the next stitch, then a single crochet into the next stitch, and then I'm going to chain one, which will be a space for working the straps into, then skip a stitch and work one single crochet into the next two stitches, chain one, skip a stitch, work a single crochet into the next two stitches, and repeat that until you get to the end of the row. So these spaces are what we're going to use to put the straps, the back straps through. That on both sides of the top. And to make it stronger, you can work one single crochet through each stitch again.
I don't ever feel calm. I can feel the sweat inside my palm. Play with me like cats and a string. You don't understand the pain it brings. You don't ever wanna give me wings. You don't ever wanna set me free. But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, maybe you'll get sick of being the monster out of my head, under my bed.
Work my strap. I basically made just one long chain of about 400 chains, and you just need to make it long enough to go around your neck and through the back strap so that you can tie a knot at the back.